All right. Good morning, Greene County.
Morning, morning.
Thank you, Christian. Um, we're building operations. I'm the director, Franz. I have been here for 25 years now. Been a long time. Rebecca, she's our administrative coordinator, does everything at the office. This is Eli Wright. He is my assistant director over the jail. He handles all jail things. I usually don't see him for months on end because he handles everything out there. We've been growing as a department, luckily. We have 14 buildings we take care of continuously with our staff of 18 maintenance guys and 15 custodians. Right now, we're pulling in roughly around 600 work orders every 3 months. So if things don't happen as fast as you want it, we apologize, but the guys are busy right now. So we're keeping busy. We use PM work. We have a full PM staff too, and they're running around both campuses. And we generate about 238 PMs every single month. And that covers everything from filters to cleaning the air conditioning units, to lubing the air conditioning units, to water filters, water softeners, exit lights. We cover the whole gambit. So we're keeping pretty busy. Right now we have 400 open work orders. So, and a lot of that is because we just don't have enough personnel to cover it. And so we're getting to the high priorities as much as we can first, and then we try to get the ones that really have to get done. Because at the same time we have all this happening, we're running projects. So right now we're in the middle of replacing every air conditioner in this building. We have 3 areas left: the assessors, part of the little clerks, and then from there we go to the recorders up to Allen's area, and then from there we go to the old IT area that's everybody's been jumping into as our staging area. So those are our last 3 areas, and by that time the building will be fully conditioned and have completely new makeup air units. We've been feeding the makeup air they're running right now, but not all areas have it because we still have to make certain connections to bring them all in. And we do have a contractor who's been performing all that work. Problem is he can only get in when we can kick you guys out. So that's where we're at. We have a full gamut of people. Our newest department we brought on was our locksmiths. We have 2 locksmiths now, and they are actually certified in locksmith school. We sent them up last year. They spent a week up in class and got certified. We've been rekeying the campus, as probably most of you know. We're actually on one of our last buildings. The big one is judicial, and we've been rekeying judicial. That was one of our bigger ones. It's costing the most and taking the most time because you have 200-300 doors that you have to change out. And it's going from large format, which makes no sense to most people, to a small format. So we're changing out handles and everything to it. So it's actually been going pretty good. And we also cut all our own keys now. So if you ever have a key that's bad or anything like that, give us a call. We can always cut it. It takes about 2 minutes to cut it and another minute to re-engrave it. So we keep track of it that way. So we do that, and that's keeping us pretty busy. We do handle all the snow equipment. We got some nice snow equipment now that covers most of this campus, and then we run out to Eli's campus after we get this one done. So we all pack up everything. We guys load it up into trailers and take it across town and hit his campus too. So our HVAC team has been keeping super busy, all 4 of them. They have to pull in other guys, the PM mechanics all pull in to help because they've been redoing all that's Cheryl's area up in that top corner that they're redoing the ductwork and stuff like that. And so they've been keeping busy. The bottom pictures are with, they're actually inside the cooling towers over at the jail. Those are the belts that Joe has in his hand rolling up. And that's Jameson standing underneath the fan. So that tell you how big they are. And we got RJ, which I'm sure everybody knows. And our new guy is Adam. He does his job really well. They're both journeyman electricians. So we got a bonus on that. And then we got Justin and Phil. Luckily, Justin got a haircut. So he looks completely different now. But they keep busy. They spend a lot of their time out at the new jail because our inmates are still keeping us busy over there. For some reason, they find it fun to clog things up, but they keep us busy. So they're out there almost every day. And then when they're not there, we bring them back to this campus to fix the stuff we have happening, which happens all the time. Even in the new construction, we've had pipes got busted that weren't supposed to be busted, and their plumber was across the state and couldn't get here, so we went in to help them out. So they're all over the place trying to keep this place smelling better best we can. But they do have a challenge. And preventive maintenance guys, these guys do everything. And like I said, we only have 5 right at the moment, and they stay busy. And we do the filter change is just not a filter change. They actually get in there and vacuum out the units too, because especially the ones at the jail, they're next to that quarry, and they're building that brand new building across the street. So dust is horrible. We're changing filters monthly now, just to keep our units clean and running smoothly. So they have to get in there and they vacuum it out, change the filters, wash the coils. And so it's very labor intensive. I only have 2 guys out there. They're out there every day. And that's all they do. The other 3 are working this campus. Sam is actually the lead over that department. So he's trying to keep them all running, and he gets all my complaints I get from everybody else. There's our locksmith. Juan is one of our new add-ons. He does all our recycling, our running, and pretty much everything else we need. He's been a great help. Then Dan and Joe, which not many people talk to, but they are pretty good guys. That's me included. Those 2 are like on cruise control. They just go do their work, and we assign it, and it gets done in about another 30 minutes. And so they're doing awesome. The lock guys have really stepped up, and they're doing really good. I think we've cut over 100 keys now for judicial alone. And so they can knock those out pretty good. It's like you have a question, Christian.
No, I was just going to ask, you've done a lot of in-house training to bring people up to the standards where we might have in the past had to outsource that, like the locksmith, like the HVAC. Do you have a handle or an appreciation for how much money you've saved by doing that reinvestment in the employees? And how has that helped your retention of your team?
We've trained, like you said, quite a bit. All our HVAC guys have gone to LG training, and they're all certified now to install LG. I couldn't tell you how much money we saved on this HVAC alone project. We've probably saved close to $1 million on us doing the work, as opposed to paying Seco or James River to install it, just for the simple fact that we do the work and our labor hours are free. We don't have to charge for that, because if I have to hire somebody out, we're looking at $130 an hour. And that's just straight time. And so we've saved quite a bit of money doing that. Hopefully the retention works out that way. It also gets them trained to go other places if they want to. But I do know from the company that we do bring in, because we bought a company all this equipment through a company. They send someone out to do the factory startup as part of our price on the equipment. And she loves coming here. She said it's one of the best places to come start up. She volunteers every time because she knows it's going to be easy because it was done right. So,
Do you see anything else that you have eyes on as to up training some of your people to do?
we're doing, I'm trying to get more people backflow prevented. We have to backflow check all our backflows in this county on our campuses. And so I have 2 guys that are certified for this campus. I was trying to get some more. We do that. And I'm trying to get, like the lock guys, got those certified. We're also looking at getting the HVAC guys even more certified because we're bringing more AON equipment on, which is really nice equipment. And so we need to get them certified in it. That's my next class we get. And we'll be sending them down probably to Oklahoma or hopefully bringing a trainer up here. We'll have to work that out. And this is where I turn it over.
To Eli.
So I like Franz said, I'm the assistant director at the new jail, and I've been here. Next week will be 6 years. So for the jail, I thought we'd go over like the big components of the new jail. So this slide is just talking about kind of some stats about the jail. So it's a 25-acre campus completed, or they moved inmates in about of June of 22. So just coming up on 3 years now. The north end of the campus is the sheriff's office. It's about 60,000 square feet. The jail is the middle. And then the training law enforcement academy is on the south end. And the capacity of the jail has just over 1,200 inmate beds. So one of the big components that we utilize daily is our building management system. So this primarily, it's for our HVAC team, but this helps with improving efficiency, reducing operation cost, gives increased occupant comfort. We can change set points and change thermostats remotely. It's also for safety. So part of the fire smoke system at the jail goes through the building management system. It helps us, like the chart you see on the left there, that's a representation of the jail. And you can kind of see at the bottom right, if it's green, it's usually right at the temperature set point. And then as it works farther away from the green, you can see if it's a little bit colder, a little bit warmer. And that's a quick indicator of if we see some red, we need to go look at that area. And then it also helps with it. This is pretty much the brains of the building as far as the HVAC system goes. So we can do things like at the jail, we had an issue where when we were testing our generators weekly, the exhaust from the generators was getting sucked right back into the sheriff's building and causing all sorts of headaches and things like that. So with our control system, we were able to program in so that the units on the sheriff's office would close down, not bring in any outside air while the generators were running. And that alleviated our problem. We didn't have to change anything with the building itself. So that's just one example of the capabilities of our building management system. And that system is campus-wide too. So one of the next big thing would be heating and cooling. So the jail has 2 700-ton magnetic bearing chillers. And with all the equipment, you'll see a lot of redundancy at the jail, just so that there's hopefully no downtime with the equipment that we're using. So one chiller is capable of cooling the whole jail. So while one is down getting maintenance, the other chiller can run to provide the cooling for the jail. So this unit supplies 43-degree water out to the air handlers, which we'll talk about in a little bit. and it's capable of producing over 2,000 gallons per minute flow rate of that 43-degree water out to the jail. And just as a reference to size, we have enough capacity to supply like around 280 average size houses with cooling with these units here. So it's a very large system. And as Franz was talking about earlier, our cooling towers, there gives you another picture of the fan. It's probably about 10 to 12 feet across, and there's two of them. The cooling tower has two cells sitting side by side. So there's two fans that big. So this pretty much is the piece of equipment that releases the heat load that the chiller picks up from the building and puts it outside. So on the right, the pumps, those are about 6 feet tall. They do all the pumping for the cooling tower. And that middle picture is after our recent storm, when the chillers started back up again, there was a heavy heat load. So you can see that going out the top of the cooling tower. So. And then we also have boilers that do our heating, and they also are hydronic, so water boilers. They produce about 140 to 180 degree water. And then you can see a representation of our controls. So we have the 4 boilers and then our pumps, and then we can see like what the water temps are throughout the building to make sure that they're getting the hot water to where it needs to be to do the heating. And then our boilers also help with dehumidification in the summertime. So they're running in the summertime, they're running at a lower speed, but they do run all year round. And then, so these are 4 6 million BTU boilers, and the average house furnace is about 80 to 100,000 BTUs. So that tells you just how large these are as well. And these boilers get PM'd. They get completely torn down. Where you see that red part in the picture is the burn chamber. That gets completely taken out to inspect all the burn chamber. That happens yearly. So that's why it's important to have so many of them so that we can keep the building warm even when we're doing PMs. And then the next component of our boilers and chillers is our air handling units. So you can see how many we have. We have 18 ERU, 16 day room, 12 rooftops, and then over 60 exhaust fans. And one of the good things compared to our old jail, all the units that serve cells at the jail are 100% outdoor air. So they have a ERU, or energy recovery wheel, that turns all the time, that absorbs some of the cooling or heating capacity that's in the building, and it exhausts that and then puts 100% fresh air into the building. Also, all the units that have recirculated air have UV bulbs that help kill bacteria in the air before it goes back into the building. And our medical unit also has special HEPA filters to help further reduce the risks of airborne pathogens or stuff getting into the building that shouldn't. And then that bottom right picture is one of our chases. And so there's several chases throughout the building. That this is where a lot of our work takes place. So we don't have to be working where inmates are. The air comes into that and then distributes into the cells. And then, like Franz said, our preventive maintenance team is vital at the jail. The pictures here, Rob's on the left and Andrew's on the right. They're replacing filters, and then they also vacuum the units. And just some of the stats at the jail alone, we have over 510 filters, and most of those do get changed monthly. 200 belts, 49 air handling units, ice machines, electric motors that need grease, ERU wheels that need cleaned periodically, large circulation pumps that we clean the strainers on, And then we also clean our cooling tower twice per year. So. And then, as you can imagine, with all that water that goes through the building, water testing is important to make sure that our water that's running through all the pipes is able to do the job that it's put up to. So our PM department also does water testing. So our boilers need softened water so they don't scale up, and then so that we have them long term so they don't have issues before they should. Our water tower needs chemical treatment to prevent things like algae and things from growing in it. And then we test our water weekly to make sure that everything is up to par. Also, like some stats on our plumbing. You saw some of the Chaseway that had the air handling equipment in it also has all the plumbing equipment in it. And we have over 400 inmate toilets, 110 inmate showers, 10 domestic boilers, 3 hot water heaters, more than 5 hot water storage tanks, and then mixing valves all throughout the jail. And Phil is working on a clog in that picture there. So like Franz said, unclogging pipes is one of the main issues at the jail. And we do have some things in place to help prevent that. Our water management system there's a graphic on the top right there, and then a picture of the chase, but it allows officers and ourselves to control how much water the inmates are able to use. So they can have so many flushes in any given amount of time. And then if they try to flood their cell, the toilets have a little sensor that will shut the water off immediately so they can't flood their cell. And they also have like pin traps in the chaseways to catch any large items that they try to flush, so it doesn't go to the city. So
The nice part about the electronic system is if the officers have to do a search, in the old system, there was always one more flush with the inmates. There is no more one more flushes on these. So they can't flush the contraband.
And some stats on our locks and doors. We have over 730 detention doors. That's not including the commercial doors, like doors in the sheriff's office and things, but doors that look like that in the picture, there's over 700 of those. And these doors are very large, and they are able to be opened with a key like normal, but they also have a motor inside that they can be remotely operated by the control stations.
Do you use keys for those large doors, like the big monster keys?
Yeah, we can cut all keys. Okay. That's actually where we started on the key side, was cutting all the detention keys because it's usually really expensive. They're like $30 a key. Right. So we decided to take that on initially.
And then let's see, all the doors usually have an intercom on both sides as well, so that guards and inmates can talk to the control stations. All our doors have tamper-proof screws, which can be a headache for us because we break plenty of bits trying to get into those. And then all the locks themselves are tamper-proof and have anti-pick, so it's very difficult for the inmates to get out. So, and one of the cool specs I liked about the locks was they're designed that even if you had 600 pounds of force against the latch, that mechanism would still be able to open the door. So even if the inmates are trying to not let them in, it's probably not going to happen. So, and then one of the last components we'll talk about today is our generators. So they're two 1250 kVA diesel generators, and the black part on the picture underneath the generator is the tank, and it's a 2,500 gallon tank. And they're capable of serving the whole needs of the jail, and they provide 3-phase power, 480 volts. And then on the inside, they're connected to 4 transfer switches. So the highest priority would always be connected to transfer switch 1. And if there's enough load to supply like power to the chiller and whatnot, it can do that, but it's smart enough to know if it can do that, and it'll back down if it needs to only supply those vital loads. And these are tested weekly. And in the event of an outage, these things can sense that the power is out and be on and running and supplying power to the building within 10 seconds. So I think that's it for me.
So I just wanted to touch on this real quick before I let Franzi talk about all the projects we have going on. So Asset Essentials is our work order system. So if you have access, you can always enter a work order in there. I get a lot of questions about the locations and how to select locations. Some people try to like toggle through all the pages, and that's a lot of work. I recommend just toggling on the side, selecting your building, selecting your floor, and going from there. If you don't have access, you can always call us. Usually it'll be Keisha that answers the phone. If she's on the other line, you may be stuck with me. But you can also email us, call us. We're there 7 to 4 every day, and we can enter a work order for you. If it's immediate, we'll usually call the guys and get them going that way before we even enter the work order. So,
But please don't rely on the guys if you tell them personally. Expect that to happen. Most of the time they will forget. I will too. So that's why I always say email or call the ladies, and they'll write it down and get it going faster than I can. So please don't rely on the guys.
a big thing when you're calling us, make sure you let us know where you're at. There's 14 buildings, lots of offices, lots of people. We get to know a lot of you just through calling, but please let us know what building you're in, what floor. If you have an office number, that's always good information, just so we're sending the guys to the correct location. I think that's all on that one.
Yes, ma'am.
Have fun.
We've been doing a lot of projects, getting close on time. I'll go through quick. We did, the bathrooms just got done, everybody. That was a big group effort with Rob and everybody. We remodeled resource management completely on their permit side. They got all new countertops, carpet. Dan and Joe did that work, and they did a phenomenal job. We found the skylight up in the ceiling. I've always known it's there. We just never, it's always been hidden by ceiling tiles. So one of my things was I wanted to bring it out. And so we brought the skylight out. I actually had to change out the skylight because it was all spider cracked from however many years from original, because it had an original skylight in it. And so there was that nice stained glass underneath it. We still need to take the stained glass down and clean it. Franz is just really, really scared. I don't want it to drop and break. So we've been putting that one off a little bit. Right now, we're in the assessors doing their HVAC work, and they're getting a renovation on their room 37. It's going to be a big change for that. And also 39 is going to be a nice new public area. So there's going to be a lot more room for the public. Should be really nice. But we've been going through every area in this place. We've also, we've been working at juvenile. We're renovating juvenile right now, old juvenile, not where they're at now. So all the detention doors are being changed out. They'll get new detention locks. We actually stole the locks from the old jail to save a few $1,000s. So every cell door will have a nice big 8-inch lock. These locks run around $2,500 a piece, so we're saving that. We're pulled the intercoms out of the old jail, so we're trying to recycle as much as we can out of the old jail itself to reuse at juvenile, because these things have been solid. And then it's also getting a complete paint. It's had a new roof, tuck pointed. windows are caulked. We're trying to do everything we can. New air handlers and new boilers have all been put into the new juvenile. So it should be a pretty good building by the time we're done. And hopefully we get done with it in mid July. We're also running, my guys aren't doing the work luckily, but we're also have the new jail renovation going on. They got some pretty neat equipment. I walk through all the time. Me and Rob are having to work real close on this project, meetings usually a few times a week. But if you ever went to the old jail, you could really see how the changes are happened. Kitchen is completely empty. It's been completely dug out. Whole new floor is being poured this week, or next week it's getting poured. And like you can see that little green wagon up there, that's an electric dump wagon. It's actually pretty neat equipment the guys brought in. They use robots to tear things up. They got robotic arms that can tear 24-inch walls down. So the equipment they've been using has been pretty nice. That's where we're at on projects. We do have a lot of other things going. We got brand new crack units hopefully going in this year. We can get it out to bid, which will be serving the server room. The server, as you know, is pretty critical to keep the county running. So we're right now the crack units, which I was the air conditioning for that room itself, it's running at about 150% because that the county's IT department is put new equipment in there and it generates a lot more heat. It's just the way the technology has been moving. And so it takes 2 units to keep that room clean. So it was one of my things to get done where we get them changed out. So only 1 unit can run, keep it cool. So we always have redundancy. That's one of the critical places because if you turn off the air conditioners in that room, it takes right around 10 minutes for it to overheat. We've tested it and they're never happy when we do that. And of course you never want to test it on, but it's the way it works around here. See, what else do we have? I think that's it. We got a lot of little things running. We're doing all over the place, but that's one of our big ones. Our custodial staff, they're doing phenomenal. We do go through a lot of staff, but we do have the ones we have right now are doing really good. If you do ever have any issues or anything like that, please let us know. Something could be just missed or might be a new staff person and they're just not catching what the old staff person caught. So just let us know. It's no big deal to us. We'll talk to them and get things straightened out. We always want you guys happy as much as possible. Recycling. We do that a lot.
A lot of it.
We've been recycling since 22, and steadily it's been going up. We're in the, how much are we up to now? 30?
So as of this month, last week, we've done 161 tons of stuff since 2022. That's about 4.5 tons a month, give or take. And that does not include the cardboard recycling from the jail for April or May. And that's usually several tons, so.
Yeah.
I will be adding, some recycle bins out at the jail and the cafe for plastic and cans and things like that. Those just came in from my grant, so.
Yeah, we run that, a lot of it on a grant. We got a vehicle on a grant. She buys all the recycling bins and scales for this on a grant. So it's not county money, which is nice. But then our Juan takes care of everything else and he collects all this recycling. So we even recycle all the metals that we get and we turn that back over we drop it off the treasurer's office, our nice little checks every once in a while, because we recycle the air conditioning units we're pulling off if they can't be reused. We have 4 that we've slated to go to FJC just to recycle them because they're in good enough shape we can save them. So we do think about that process while we're doing everything. Any questions? And we nailed it. Oh, no, sorry, time's up.
Assessor's office on the ground floor.
That's going to be a public area. She's asking about room 39. It's getting renovated, and that part where you see where the carpet's been ripped up, that's actually gonna be LVT, I believe, is what we're putting back in there. And,
It's gonna be the high.
oh, the kinetics,
Kinetics.
we're putting back kinetics, so it's a little high traffic. Because what they had now is just standard office carpet, and since that's gonna be a public main waiting area, they wanted to put something a little more high traffic in there.
We'll keep the carpet that's been taken up for replacements and spots and things like that, because that's the same carpet that's at 35 as well. So it's still in the back hallway, in the back office.
Yeah,
We'll-
they just pulled
we'll
that.
work out that.
They literally just pulled out. If you see the pattern, they pull out exactly where the public's gonna be. So they're doing a good job at that. Any more? Yes, Julie.
You guys are awesome. Thank you for all you do, seriously.
If everybody didn't get that, she said we're awesome. Thank you. Have a good day.